Hi, welcome to HeKate's Crossing. Okay, I've been watching my classic decks by Dani Mystic, and I know lots of people have been doing the video, like Boho Tarot and a few others anyway. So what I wanted to do was sort of go through my classic decks, meaning decks that I sort of started with and that I sort of, when my box of decks actually disappeared, I repurchased, so to speak, or I have over time repurchased. There's still a couple more decks that I want from my original ones, but I haven't yet purchased them. But anyway, let me start with my first tarot deck, of course, and still using today, 20 plus years later, is the Native American Tarot, of course. Okay, and then the next deck is the Crystal Alley card. Now, what the only difference with this one is, this is the Evolution Edition instead of the traditional, which of course has different backs. It's gilded, and it has a few extra cards in it. There are some changes and things to it. So yeah, so that's were two of the decks that are definitely my classics. Native American Tarot that I started with, the Crystal Alley cards I started with, but of course changed to the Evolution Edition. Now, another deck that I sort of started working with in tarot sort of later on, of course this was many years ago, of course, and I repurchased them, was the Angel Tarot, which of course is now by Radley Valentine. So that's really cool. So that's the only deck I sort of got of his. Valentine's Angel Tarot. Now the other one is Nigel Suckling's Fallen Angel. This was a deck that I traditionally had and then repurchased it recently. So yeah, so we've got the Native American Tarot with Crystal Alley cards at this stage. The the Angel Tarot with the Fallen Angel Oracle is a definite repurchase. Now, I actually forgot one of the decks here is a Spirit. Okay, so there's a few more decks here which were from the original sort of decks, and I had to repurchase. They're definitely classics. The Native American Oracle. Now there are some changes in that the book is different, and I think the backs were different. So, and they had titles on the cards, so that was definitely a difference there. Another deck I had was the Spirit of the Wheel Meditation deck. It was another one that was quite different, that I repurchased. So there's a few decks there you can see that I have actually repurchased from my original sort of collection to have in stock. Now another deck here was the Fairy Oracle, the New Zealand Fairy Oracle. That was one that I repurchased. I'm so pleased I did. Oops, what happened there? Oops. Okay, the New Zealand Fairy Oracle I repurchased. Okay, now the Enchanted Map Oracle. I did repurchase this, but I've got the borderless instead of the one with the borders. I mean, this took me through many readings, and this is a deck that I will never sort of let go. So these are decks. I'm actually quite surprised at how many I actually repurchased from my traditional decks that I had. Steampunk, but I've just got the mini one. repurchased, and of course I'd say I purchased Thoth again, but I just got the mini one. I have got a larger one as well, which I'd never give away either. Still classic, I think. And just seeing if there's, oh well, definitely like a Taco de Marseille, even though I purchased Los Scarabeo one, is one that I certainly would not give away at any time soon. And the with all the Rider-Waite Smith type decks, the Centennial or the Smith-Waite one, Smith-Waite tarot deck, I definitely wouldn't give those up. So they're definitely sort of my classics that I certainly wouldn't give away. Now there's lots and lots of decks that I use, that I love, but these are the ones that I sort of repurchased. So I know that they're not going to leave my collection soon. So you can sort of see the variety of decks. Of course, you know that there's a lot more decks that I use that are definitely sort of ones that I certainly wouldn't give away or that. But I just want to sort of show you basically the decks that at this time definitely are the ones that I've repurchased and certainly wouldn't give away for any reason. There are a few more decks, of course, that I could include in here, but I don't want to be forever chatting a huge video on. I just wanted to show you really quickly without going into too much detail. It can get a bit waffly with decks that I have in my collection that I know I've repurchased, and so definitely wouldn't be giving them away to anyone. There's I mean, all my decks I have in my collection now are decks that I know that I will use, that I will have in my collection for some reason. Everything's got a purpose, so I know that I'm not going to give them away for any reason at this stage. So yeah, I think that's it from me at this time. I think that's enough for today, just to sort of show you my classic decks that I've repurchased with what I had before. Okay, so that's it from me. Take care and